So, where were we? Yes, Barry trying to close the giant vortex about Central City, and he actually did it, but at a great cost. Closing the portal was something he couldn't do alone. He needed the help of Firestorm, who is the combination of Robbie Raymond, Caitlyn's not really dead fiancé, and Dr. Martin Stein, a former Star Lab scientist, and also not a dead guy. However, Ronnie is dead now, after sacrificing himself to close the vortex, and that of course makes Caitlyn extremely upset, so she leaves. Iris still mourns Eddie's death, Wells turned out to be evil and is now dead, Cisco is also gone for some reason, Barry is left alone. But the plot must go on, and nothing says reunion like a good old meta-human enemy. In our case, Atom Smasher, another forgettable villain. But he's good enough to get the Flash Gang back together, so we can start having fun. Pretty quickly, we get the show going again. This season, we have a new mysterious enemy to take the role of the big bad, Zoom. He's a new speedster, dressed in black, and is super scary. To take on this new challenge, Barry seeks the aid of a new handsome dude called Jay Garrick. Apparently, time travel was not complicated enough for this show, so now we have parallel universes, and Jay's from the one next door. We'll call it Earth 2 for simplicity. It turns out that Zoom is from the same universe. Jay is actually the Flash in Earth 2, but he sucks, cause Zoom beat him and he lost his powers. Zoom is bored and thinks that Barry might be an entertaining challenge for his super speed. Of course, we can't really dive into the meaty part of the conflict just yet. We first need to set up the CW's next spin-off series, Legends of Tomorrow. So, as a result, the better part of the first 8 episodes is dedicated to random characters that appear and disappear to their own series. However, once they're gone, we can start having fun again. And by fun, I mean we get Harrison Wells back. Hooray! Well, it's not our Wells, it's Earth 2's Wells, but he's still the badass with a horrible attitude we all know and love. And to introduce him, the show brings one of the few characters who can put up an actual fight against Gorilla Grodd when it comes to being awesome incarnate. King Shark. If you don't know who he is, think about a giant man shark. That's it, you got it. He's awesome, isn't he? Speaking of the awesome gorilla, you didn't really think we can have a season without Grodd, did you? The greatest villain on TV returns, and oh boy is he amazing! You can never go wrong with a telekinetic gorilla. So Wells is back, the rest of the gang is back, we got new and old villains coming and going, everything is almost perfect. I say almost because it is the CW, so we still have to suffer through a lot of unnecessary drama. But if you can get through that, the rest is pretty great. Except we almost forgot that there is a crazy dude in black demonic suit speeding around Central City, and he's pretty determined to kill Barry. Well, not really kill him, because that would be too easy. What Zoom really wants is Barry's speed. So he kidnaps Wells' daughter and forces the grumpy doctor to help him take down the Flash. But this plan kind of backfires on him, and the Flash and friends that are able to travel to Earth 2 to save her. How do they do that? Well, simple, they use Cisco's superpowers. What? We didn't talk about those? Oops. So yeah, Cisco has superpowers, but they are very plot related and only used when the writers are too lazy to find another way to move the narrative forward. Anyway, in Earth 2, the gang meets their doppelgangers, mostly are evil doppelgangers, and have a great time. They save Will's daughter, but leave another guy in Iron Mask there because... reasons? We can, as usual, blame the writers for that. Since we are already 2/3 into the season, we are now allowed to know Zoom's true identity. He's actually Jay Garrick. How surprising. And, in a twist that is totally not taken from the first season, his name is not actually Jay Garrick, but Hunter Zolomon. Before we get to the season's grand finale, I will quickly mention a few things that happened this season that might be important.
Joe West has an awesome Cold Wall who may or may not become Kid Flash in the future. We got a few crossovers during the season with the Green Arrow and his gang from the less successful CW show. Flash gets to visit Supergirl's show, which is pretty fun. Mark Hamill pops by for another guest appearance and is delightful.
And whew, that's mostly it. On with the main plot. So, getting to the last few episodes of the season, we discover Zoom's plan. He wants to take over the world. How original. The way he wants to do this? Bring all of Earth 2's metahumans to Earth 1 and use them as his army. Well, it sounds like a cool idea, but we are on a TV budget here, so I won't lie and say it really pays off. But before we end everything, we get to once again revisit the good old Barry loses his mom scene. I told you before, the writers love it and will milk it for years to come. To make things worse than last season, we have to sacrifice another parent to appease the CW gods. This time, Barry's dead Henry! Zoom kills him to create extra tension. So we are headed for the final battle. This season, Barry learned from his mistakes and doesn't try to take down Zoom alone. Instead, he travels back in time, duplicates himself, which is a violation of the Time Traveler's Code or something, because the Time Police are on his tail. But don't worry, following the footsteps of his former mentor Reverse Flash, he frames Zoom for it, and the Popo take him for a trip downtown. Yay! We defeated the villain! So now all is fine. Barry even released the man in the iron mask that Zuma held captive. And it turns out to be the real Jay Garrick, who looks suspiciously like Henry Allen and is the Flash of Earth 3. All is good now. Everybody's great. We can start rolling the credits. What can possibly go wrong? Barry? What are you doing? Why are you time traveling? Barry, don't try to stop your mother's death. This is not what we do. No! No! Stop! Stop! God damn it, look what you did. Now this season also has to end with a... Did you like this video? Want to see another? Tell me in the comments what series you think I should cover next. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more awesome stuff.